49-7.
My nephew started going to Indiana. He actually doesn't like football at all. And I'm like, the one year they're ever
He's got
good.
too many.
He's not going at all.
Really, it was sold out. I saw it this morning.
Yeah.
49-7.
That's crazy. I love Nebraska lost. But they're entitled fans.
No, that's a loss.
You almost missed the press conference.
Almost missed it. We waited.
Thank you. They wouldn't have waited for me.
I got none but time today.
All right, we'll open it up for questions for Coach.
Ben, when you look at this squad, it looks nothing like last year, but at the same time, you had enough time with these guys to kind of have them play the way you want to play, and it looked like more of that in the second half.
Yeah, like I told these guys before the game and at halftime, the first 20 minutes of I don't care, when I was a player, you watch on TV, it's you got to just get through the first 20 minutes. It's a nightmare. But that's the reason why I wanted to play 2 exhibition games, to kind of get actual game in us with the crowd, with refs, with another team. And so, the first half, it is what it is, pretty standard, but it's the response that I care about. And I thought we responded the right way. In the second half, they banked in that 3, but we held them to 25 points. We went from 2 kills in the first half to 5 and had 7 for the game. I think only had maybe 3 turnovers in the second half in a game where that ball could have easily gone all over the place. I love that we had 23 assists. Again, it's a game where, guys could have gone self and tried to continue to move it. To their credit, I don't give them much to do in these games. I don't want to show a lot on film. And so, what we've worked on is not what we do in here mostly. And so they're able to kind of play offensively without me giving them much, and not like a normal game situation. I kind of like the way they played through that. And then able to just get guys in. I wanted to get guys minutes as much as possible. Probably played, Mike and Brennan and Ike, not Ike, but Mike way too many minutes. Wanted to kind of keep him and Dawson and Fox right around that, 18 to 23 mark. But, I thought for the most part, we're going to have a lot of stuff on tape that's good to see that we can get better from.
And Mike is, he's coming back. He's only a guard back, but at the same time, it's a different, role for him that he was last year with Elijah. Can you talk about the way he's comfortable?
Yeah, what do you have? 8 assists and 2 turnovers. Got to his spots. I thought for the most part he took really good shots. 7 to 13, 4 to 7 from 3. I think the big thing with Mike is he's just so comfortable out there now. He's not a new guy anymore, and he's got confidence to him. He understands exactly what we want to do on both sides of the ball. And so, I think games like this will be probably more common than not, hopefully.
What's the situation with Femi and Lukai?
Just minor stuff. So Lukai got banged in practice with a shoulder. So we just didn't want that to get hit again. So probably give him a couple more days off. And then Femi, if it was a regular game, Femi's probably playing. He had a little hip bruise. And so, again, I didn't want to risk anything, and it gave some other guys some opportunities. So thankfully nothing major.
Would you think they'd be ready for Hamlin then?
Femi should be. Lukai would just be, depending on how it plays through contact. Everything else is good. It's just I just don't want it to get hit on something. And again, we want it. Hopefully, just because I want to get him reps, but at the same time, I want to be smart with something like that.
With a guy like Brennan, starting, and it looked like we said second half he was way more comfortable. How does he fit in when you get Femi back and you get Lukai back, who obviously those 2 guys are going to have the ball in their hands as well?
Yeah, no, I think Brennan's a really good player, and I think his second half he kind of showed he's got ability to get to the rim. He can play above the rim. He's got a mid-range. He can shoot from 3. I thought again in the second half, like everybody's like, you're going a million miles an hour. It's a new system, new everything, and I just thought his experience took over in that second half. Took a deep breath, and he was really productive. 6 of 11 and 3 of 6 from 3. No turnovers, which is what I like. I thought defensively he did a pretty good job. No just loud mistakes. But I think he's another piece that adds depth to our backcourt. I think that's got to be a strength of this team is, game to game it could be somebody different, but we got pretty good depth.
Ben, from what you've seen from all the new guys, and the fans are obviously getting to know this new team, who was really maybe surprised you or stood out, or who should the fans take notice of?
I think they all, bring something for sure. I've been really impressed with our two freshmen. You never know when they go from a level, especially on a team that's older with a lot of experience, if it's going to be overwhelming for those guys, or physically, are they going to be able to compete against, 21, 22, 23-year-olds? But those two guys have really risen to the level of competition, and I think, because of that, they've gotten significantly better since June. And I think those two guys are going to be a big piece of what we're doing from here going forward. They both have a great understanding, good feel. They're both skilled, tough. As you can see, Ike's going to be really good. Grayson is just tough for him because he's battling. We got a logjam with minutes at that spot. So I'm trying to get him some, but he's looked really good in practice. And so I just think those two guys, for being true freshmen with a bunch of older, grown men, have really done a good job.
Ben, last February, March, it seemed like Parker was leaning towards leaving. What do you remember about the process? What stood out about him coming back?
Yeah, I think he I think a couple of things. I don't want to speak for him, but I think obviously he loves the university. I think not having the 2 years when he got here, I think he probably felt a little cheated. In his mind, he was thinking, all right, I'm gonna definitely get 2 years out of this. And I think winning last year sparked a fire. Everybody likes to win, and again, he signed up for 2 years, and so I think in the back of his mind, it's like, man, I don't want to just get that 1 year and one crack at it. And his body felt good. I think again, everybody has a small window for when they want to play. Maybe he wants to play afterwards, maybe he doesn't. But I think all that stuff probably factored in, and just to be able to live college life again and to kind of live a dream of his for one more year probably would sum it up.
Do you see him in a similar role this season?
Yeah, he obviously now he should be very confident in his body. So if he's got to play more minutes, extended minutes, he's the type of guy, he's a do-it-whatever-it-takes guy. The one thing I love about, him is he knows what he is. He knows how he can impact winning. He gives you that spark, whether he's starting or off the bench. He gives you that life, that energy, that spark, and you have to have that at some point in your lineup. But especially if he's a guy that's going to be, counted on for that, just that energy. I just think, in the second half, he did it again tonight a little bit. Just a ball mover, but he understands his role. He's about the right stuff. He came back because he wants to win and finish on a really high note, about the right stuff. And it's a good example. Grayson every day needs to, pay attention to what Parker's doing. They're very similar. And there's a reason why I liked Grayson and wanted to recruit him, is because of those similarities. And so if he can, learn from him this year and be able to implement that into who he is, I think it's a good thing. So the leadership that Fox brings is definitely needed.
There's a point in the second half, quite a bit, or first half, where all we could hear in the gym was Dave screaming. In one of those huddles, do you remember like what he was talking about and what you were talking about to the team? It was mainly defensively, or?
I don't.
Yeah.
No. I think again, in these games, I'm thinking so much about just like what do I need to put on film? So again, if it's a rotation, I had a couple drops that I just want to drop to just see what they look like. If we could execute something we've never practiced, to get them in the habit of paying attention to the board, like as little as that seems, but like, all right, here's something we've never ran. Can you lock in and then take it from the board to the court? And then what did the execution look like on film? So I was paying more attention to just stuff like that. Again, I'm trying to take full advantage of these two games with stuff that you just don't get in practice. And I think that's the beauty of it. So, yeah.
And general basketball question for you, with Tony Bennett stepping down this week, obviously great in the game. Do you feel like that's going to be more of the norm? And coaches, obviously you've been through it. You've been through NIL, transfer portal, all that. Like, how does this change the mindset for guys like you that got into the game just because you love it and love coaching?
Yeah, I think probably credit to him. I think very few people are humble enough maybe or understand who they are more than than Tony does, and to be able to say that, you know, I'm not the guy right now for this new landscape, I think is pretty telling of who he is just character-wise. I think he respects, obviously, the university and the game too much to kind of fake it if he wasn't all in. And in today's day and age, like, you got to be all in. If you're not all in, you're going to be miserable and you're going to, you know, hurt the program. It is different. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And a guy like that has accomplished so much and has done it a certain way. You know, to feel however he feels, I think, is justified. I think, you know, it sucks because he's a really good coach that's no longer going to be doing it. So you hope that, you know, we don't lose guys that have been doing it for a while, that we can continue to, you know, have great coaches that are veterans that, you know, can continue to help us all grow the game. But, you know, the landscape, no doubt, is different. And, again, now more than ever, if you're not in it and all the way in it, it's a long process because it's 24/7 and it's new, and it's just you got to kind of flip your mindset a little bit. And, you know, I'm fortunate because I haven't been doing it nearly as long as those guys have, so my habits are a little bit different. Maybe my expectations are different, and I could only imagine if you've come up doing it a certain way and you've been really successful doing that, and then it goes a complete like 180. That takes a certain level of adjustment, and you know, I think his press conference really explained all that.
One more, Coach.
Ben, we saw Caden have some athletic moments on both halves. How do you feel like he can best?
Who's that?
Caden Betts.
Oh, yeah, KB.
Yeah, it's some athletic moments. How do you feel like he can best impact winning on your team?
Yeah, no, I've told KB, like, he's worked really, really hard this offseason, spring and summer, and you know, I'm pulling for him. I want to find minutes for KB, and I think today was good. Just getting him out there. I mean, what, he played 20, and you know, 3 of 3. So hopefully his confidence is high. So much of that is just defensively. You know, he's a switchable guy. He's got to be able to guard the 3 and the 4, and you know, especially with TC obviously not coming back. Probably more of his minutes now are going to be if he can defend the 3, and that's what it comes down to. But he's athletic enough, he's strong enough, but it's just he needs the reps. He hasn't played, as you guys know, and so it's just to go through it and to get his body and mind in a game setting, I think is really important for him. But I think he's a guy that just I would love for him to be able to help impact this team. He's got the size that we need. He's really good in transition, probably our best perimeter guy in transition. But just his length and his